This episode of the Shooting Star Press Podcast brought to you by Audible. Audible.com, your source for all the great audiobooks on the internet. If you want to listen to a great audiobook, check out the link in the description below for Audible.com. My selection for Audible this week for you is The Dictator's Handbook. If you want to see how Randy Orton took over the Wyatt family, or how Saddam Hussein took over Iraq, wrong country. Check out The Dictator's Handbook. It is basically the dissection of how people take over groups and then turn the groups to their will. It's how presidents, dictators, CEOs, and all kinds of other people run companies, run countries, run different things. It's a great way to figure out how we got to here in the world we're in. Check it out. Check out the description below. Check out the Dictator's Handbook at audible.com. Check out the link in the description below. Get 2 free books and 30 free days. Check it out. Welcome everybody to the Shooting Star Press, your source for the latest in wrestling news. Hello, and welcome to the Shooting Star Press Podcast. That's right, you're here with me. It's Lee Craft, right here, right now. And I'm joined by the new face of the American podcast space. That's right, it's Ryan Cloud.
What's up?
How's it going, Ryan Cloud?
It's going pretty good, you know. It's pay-per-view week. I mean, like the 80th one in like 4 months, so you know.
I mean, last week was a pay-per-view week for Ring of Honor. This week's pay-per-view week for a WWE. Man, what was it? 2 weeks ago was pay-per-view week. It's pay-per-view week every week now.
Every week's pay-per-view week. It's just how it is. Technically, if you want to get technical with it, there's 2 WWE pay-per-views if you count NXT TakeOver.
Yeah, there is two pay-per-views. Oh my gosh, there is so many pay-per-views around Club.
I'm
going crazy.
I guess they were like, we got this Backlash thing right here, but it's not really what We'll just throw NXT out there too.
Well, you gotta have an NXT pay-per-view to go along with every other pay-per-view. So you're going to have a pay-per-view like every 3 days. It's like, my gosh.
Poor WWE
I don't even know.
It happens.
If I sound tired right now, it's because I am. I'm so tired because of this. There's so many pay-per-views.
So many hours spent watching TV.
I know, it's insane. Oh, well. So, what is this pay-per-view we got coming up? Well, I guess you just said it. But what are these 2 pay-per-views?
Well, we have NXT TakeOver Chi-Town, or Chicago, whichever one you prefer. And then we got, SmackDown's own Backlash, which is,
I think they should have called it Smacklash.
Why not?
Yeah, it would have been great.
Backlash, Smacklash,
All right. Well, I guess let's, before we get into those pay-per-views, we'll touch those when we get to each brand. So where do you want to start?
Since we're going to do, Backlash a little bit later, we might as well just start off with Raw, which, was basically a show to help set up Raw's next pay-per-view. They'll be in like 5 days. Extreme Rules. So, we open the show. Let me set the scene for you. We open the show. And we have, the American hero, Kurt Angle, in the ring. And, he's talking some stuff, as Kurt Angle typically does, or a GM, whatever. And he says that Braun Strowman has suffered an injury because of Satan, or Roman Reigns, whatever you want to call him. So yeah, that brought us to the announcement, and why don't you tell us a little bit about what the announcement was, Lee?
That Senor Braun will be out for about 6 months.
6 months.
Yep. And he's got to go get got his shoulder amputated. They'll reattach it. It'll be a whole thing. It's going to be a mess. Just going to be a mess. And then he'll be back, and he'll take on his chance to get at the Beast, but first he's got to be out for 6 months. So they're going to have a whole big thing to try to figure out who's going to be the next challenger to the Beast.
And that is in the form of a fatal 5-way Extreme Rules match.
Yeah.
And Extreme Rules, I mean, and it basically includes everybody that you would assume that it would include.
I'm not in it.
Well, I'm not either. It's a mistake on their part. I blame creative because that's just the thing to do. You have Bray Wyatt. You have who he's been feuding with, Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
You have Seth Rollins, who he's been feuding with, Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just got to throw Roman Reigns in there because, it's Roman Reigns.
Yep. He's going to win. That's basically what it says.
He's going to win.
So, I guess we need to unpack this for a second. Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman are both supposed to have these, horrendous shoulder injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the same injury that kept Finn Balor on the shelf. So, how is Roman Reigns supposed to even be on... He shouldn't even be touching canvas.
He's Samoan Jesus.
I mean, apparently. But how are they gonna take Braun Strowman out and not Roman Reigns out if they're supposed to have the same injury? I don't understand this. And wait, his injury is supposed to be worse. Roman Reigns, that is. He's supposed to have broken ribs too. Under all his armor that he wears. I don't understand. I don't understand this.
Well, see, here's the deal, though, man. See, you don't understand it. That's why you should understand it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Nope.
It's the WWE right now, man. I mean, you don't understand it. That's the reason why you should understand it. That's the WWE logic. Right now.
I gotcha. Makes sense. Makes absolutely no sense, but it makes sense. Sure.
Exactly.
Next thing we're going to see is Jinder Mahal is going to cross brands and take both titles.
Don't jinx us.
He's going to unify the titles. Him and Jericho are going to be the two unifying champions.
I mean, he's got to get past Randy Orton this Sunday.
We know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Anyways, we're on Raw.
Sorry. I'm not happy.
It just happens. But yeah, I guess it's part of the whole Roman Reigns is Samoan Jesus. Is the reason why he can fight through it and nobody else can. But, I guess that's just, one more point to make. That's just one more thing that proves he's going to end up with this title at Extreme Rules. Or at least he's going to win this match in Extreme Rules and go on to face Brock Lesnar at whatever that pay-per-view. Great Balls of Fire? I don't know.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. Sorry, wrong song.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It happens. But, and just another indictment on the reason why Roman Reigns is going to end up winning this match is the fact that we've seen this before. And, you've already got two rivalries in this match. You've already got Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and you've already got Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
After this match, those two feuds are probably going to keep going.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, the only reasonable thing to do is let Roman Reigns go on to fight Brock Lesnar, which is not. I mean, that's not the money match anyone wants to see. I mean,
No.
the money matches that could come out of this is, and I mean like straight money, is you could have Finn Balor Brock Lesnar or Samoa Joe Brock Lesnar. Everything else we've seen before.
Yeah. And I can't think of anybody that wants to see a Reigns-Lesnar match. We know what's going to happen. We know that they're going to we're going to have Roman Reigns winning the belt at WrestleMania next year from Brock Lesnar also. So all of this, since we basically know and they basically said that, all of this is just window dressing. And there's no point even, I guess there's really not even a point talking about Reigns-Lesnar, this feud that's going to be coming up, unless something actually cool happens. But I don't know if anything cool is going to happen because Roman Reigns, it's just so rare for him to do anything really cool. When he was talking to, I think it was Angle, he came out there and he was just like, I want my match. Yes, I want my match. Yes, please give me my match. Yes.
It's my
give me the match.
Me my match.
And he sounded like a robot, but sounded like a dumb robot. Like,
exactly.
He's operating off a Commodore 64 hardware trying to run an artificial intelligence. Not very good. It's not very good. That's all I really got to say about that.
And I mean, just compare how he addressed the situation to how, let's say, Finn Balor did. And he's like, hey, don't forget, I beat you in my first match on Raw, bruh, and I never lost the title. So, seems like a fair thing for me to get the title shot.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Samoa Joe's little promo was probably the best out of all of them. But
I feel you. If anybody deserves a shot at the title, it is Finn, and that's just how that is. Because he had to have it stripped from him because he had no way of defending it because he had to go get shoulder surgery. I'm really interested in seeing the was it WWE 24? I think that's what they're calling these shows.
Yeah.
For Finn Balor, seeing how he got his shoulder fixed and got back into fighting shape. I really want to see that, and I think that comes on after Backlash. I'm not sure if it's either after Backlash or after NXT, but I'm really interested to see that.
Yeah, it should be a good show. I mean, just seeing what all he went through after that terrible, terrible injury. And I don't know. I'm just hoping that at the end of the road, I know that we already said Roman Reigns is winning this match at Extreme Rules. I mean, it's
most
all
likely
done. But I'm hoping later in the year they at least let Finn Balor fight for the title again, or put him in an interesting match for the IC title. I mean, it can't be any worse than what we saw Monday with Dean Ambrose and The Miz.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what happened.
Well, basically, it was a decent match, but I mean the main thing is I'm not gonna rehash the whole match or whatnot, but the highlight of it was the fact that Dean Ambrose purposely low blowed The Miz to get disqualified. I mean, he kind of acted like, what? After it. And, I mean, it was the most blatant low blow that I've seen in a while by a supposed face. So, I don't know. It confused me. I don't quite understand, why this happened, why they booked this to end this way.
Yeah, well, I can see them trying to make. Well, Ambrose is supposed to be a crazy man. He's a crazy man, and he lets his emotion take him over. And I can see how that can be, booked as a crazy face move, kind of like something that Mankind would have done just like he's getting into it, and the Miz tries to low blow him, so he's like, well, I'll show you, and he low blows him back. And that's basically how I saw that. Like, it's not necessarily a heel or a face thing. It's I'm a crazy person type of thing. That's kind of how I saw that.
Right.
But I didn't like that ending anyway. If they were trying to do a DQ type of ending, a kind of dusty finish, they could have done something better than that. But that's the only way I could justify that, was him, I'm a crazy man type thing.
Right, and I could see that. Like you said, if they was wanting to use that kind of ending, I mean, they could have had Ambrose like go crazy with a weapon of some sort.
Exactly.
But I don't know, this whole Ambrose Miz thing, for me personally, it's just for one thing, it ran its course on SmackDown, and now you bring it to Raw, and I'm already kind of through with it. Like, I'd really hope the Miz, I hate to say it, defeats Ambrose for the title eventually. I'm guessing at Extreme Rules. Oh yeah, well they officially booked the match for Extreme Rules on Monday. So I'm hoping during that we'll see the Miz take the title back, because it really does feel like it's rotting on Ambrose's shoulder or waist, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Like, I have a feeling they didn't have him find a weapon because they already had Alexa Bliss do that.
Truth.
And they didn't want to have too many weapons, but Alexa Bliss doing that doesn't make any sense. Dean Ambrose doing that makes sense.
Exactly. And I just hope that eventually we get a decent Ambrose character. Like, I don't know if they're going to totally change his persona anytime soon, or if that's even in the cards, period.
I mean, they don't really have to, though. His persona's fine. They just need to write him better.
Yes.
Or they need to go back to when he was John Moxley and go back and watch some of watch a John Moxley match. These are matches where his face has the red mask of death. He is covered in blood. He's taken bats covered in barbed wire to the back and stuff. Go back. They need to just go back, take that crazy extreme rules stuff. Like, an Extreme Rules match he's built for an Extreme Rules match. He is basically Mankind. He is basically Dude Love. Well, he's probably more like Dude Love or Cactus Jack than Mankind, but he is basically Mick Foley. He is the new Mick Foley. If you look at any of his old matches from before he joined WWE, he is up there with Tommy Dreamer. He's up there with just ECW. He's basically ECW wrapped into a PG package at this point. I mean, he's not even that at this point, but that's what he was when they first grabbed him, when they first picked him up. And they need to go back to that. That's what got people wanting to watch it. That's what got people wanting to watch him in WWE. What got people wanting to watch him in the Indies was he was basically ECW.
Right. And the thing is, right now, I don't even think they've booked this match at Extreme Rules as an Extreme Rules match.
Yeah, the only match that I've heard that is really an Extreme Rules match is the one we're probably going to talk about here in a second with Alexa Bliss and Bayley.
and the Fatal 5-Way. It's Extreme Rules.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, the only thing that I got from it is the belt will be able to change hands in the case of a disqualification. Is basically what I got out of it.
Yeah, it's a if this were a Ring of Honor, a match without honor is basically what this would be. Yeah, it's got to be a Extreme Rules match. If everything at Extreme Rules should be Extreme Rules matches.
Yeah, or at least some type of variation of a, no DQ, anything like that. At least some variation of it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see John Cena covered in blood from head to toe type of match from a few years ago. But we're not going to see anything like that because of all the PG-ness. But I want to see something that quality. I want to see Stone Cold getting tapped out, or not getting tapped out, passing out from blood loss while sitting in a sharpshooter. But we're not going to see that.
No. No, it's the PG era, man. I mean, I hope to at least see some red. I
mean, I don't need like Abdullah the Butcher type of levels where he's stabbing people with forks, but I want to see something.
Yeah, just if it shouldn't. You shouldn't be allowed to make a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules if you're not going to bleed somewhere.
Yeah.
But, that's neither here nor there. I guess we can move on to, you kind of hinted at it, this whole Alexa Bliss Bayley segment. Yeah. What did you think?
This feels out of place.
It does.
It feels out of place. Feels out of place for Bayley. The way they booked Bayley in the past couple weeks feels out of place. She's all pouty that she's lost her title. She's supposed to be like a champion for the children, all that stuff, and then she's all pouty.
Yeah.
It makes her seem like, the little kids should throw tantrums if they want to win their things. That's the reason why people hate Caillou. I'm sure you watched that show, Ryan Cloud. Caillou, little bald kid.
Maybe.
Yeah. But like, I basically read a thing about why parents hate that show. It's because it's got it basically teaches the kids to throw tantrums to get what they want. And she's all pouty and sad, and that just kind of enforces that throw tantrum type thing. And then she gets hit with the thing. Her kind of character, she is the John Cena of the women's division. She is supposed to rise above the hate, rise above all that stuff. And then she's like, no, it has to be an Extreme Rules match. Her character should not want to do that. Her character should want to be like, I can beat her clean. I don't need any of that stuff. I'm going to rise above her using weapons.
Right, and I mean, it is rather disappointing how Bayley's direction has taken a little bit of a turn since she's lost the title. Like you said, Monday I felt like she's like, but she called me a kid, and I'm like, well, you're kind of acting like one right now. I'm just saying,
yeah,
she's not all that off at this point, and it's really disappointing because, like you said, she's supposed to be the people's champion, that female John Cena type of character or role, wrestler, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been reduced to a crybaby.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
And that's just, I don't know. But yeah, the whole, which we haven't said it yet. They're going to fight in a kendo stick on a pole match. Okay?
I was not one to say it.
We got to let the people know. I mean,
did they rehire Vince Russo? I don't understand. I mean, I feel like this is WCW or TNA, and I feel like we're going to see Vicky Guerrero on a pole match pretty soon, something like that. My gosh, that was the end of it. Oh my gosh.
I was just like, when he's like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to give Alexa a taste of her own medicine. I was like, okay, it's an Extreme Rules match, whatever. We're going to do a kendo stick on a pole match. I was like, really? That's really anticlimactic, Kurt.
This reminds me of the Booker T. It was like 4 boxes on a pole match, like Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett, I think. I don't remember exactly who it was. And they would they'd go and get the box off the pole, and they had 4 boxes, and then one was like a picture of the mop that was everybody that. No, just go look it up. It's one of the most horrible matches ever. It's Booker T 4-corner pole match, and each pole had a box, and each box had something weird in it. and only one of them had anything useful. And Booker T grabbed one of them, and it was like a picture of Kevin Sullivan or something, and some weird things. Nobody should book these on a pole matches.
Yeah.
They are stupid.
Yeah, I have no idea what. This is another example of creative just running out of ideas.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw it. Kendo stick on a pole match. It's happening.
I feel like it took them a while to get to something on a pole match back in the Attitude Era. It hasn't taken them that long as it did back then to get to it now.
Yeah, and the thing is, a kendo stick on a pole match is kind of pointless in a sense. I mean, you climb up first, you get the kendo stick, whatever. You can use the kendo stick, but once it's in play, so can the other person. So,
I mean, if I would rather see them have just extreme rules, assorted weapons laying about.
Exactly.
I mean, you might have one hanging above the ring too. There you go. That's fine. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, I haven't watched a on a pole match in a while. Now, what are the stipulations of a pole match generally?
I mean, from my recollection, like you said, it's been a while. I can't even tell you the last time I saw it. But like I said, if my recollection serves me right, I'm pretty sure it's just basically a regular match with someone being able to climb up and grab a kendo stick and use it. Is that not essentially what it is?
See, now I thought you won if you took the thing off the pole. But I mean, I could be wrong. So if that is the stipulation, and I'm sure that's been the stipulation previously, because like they've put all kinds of weird crap on the poles. They've had condom on a pole match and all kinds of stuff like that. So I would assume you win if you get the thing off the pole. So they go up there, they get the kendo stick, they win. There's no point in having it unless Bayley gets it and then she goes to town on Alexa Bliss, which is the opposite of what Bayley's character is. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Unless Bayley's whole point is to prevent her from getting the thing, and then it's just like it's a game of keep away, which is stupid.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's pretty much all I can really think of about this match. Is that's stupid.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. And I've not been able to find any kind of, stipulation as to what in the world this is going to end up being. But, yeah, if anybody here listening knows, just, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Educate us, because I don't know. It's stupid either way. But, yeah. What else on Raw was there really? I mean, this has been kind of a setup show for Extreme Rules. Is there anything else that stands out to you on Raw?
Not really. How about yourself, Franklin?
We had the two main events, but I mean, there wasn't anything that really came out. I mean, Balor lost to Roman Reigns, which we all knew was going to happen, and I mean, Samoa Joe interfered with the Rollins-Wyatt match. I mean, it's all a thing.
Yeah. Oh well. So I guess that could take us into
getting paid.
Okay, I guess we could do that. All right. So, Ron Cloud, how do you feel about trying to buy things from the internet?
I'm always like, man, do I want to buy things from the internet? I sure wish that this was easier. That's how I feel.
I know, right? Well, with the awesome website, Amazon.com, you can go on there and find whatever you want.
Whoa.
I know, right? The only problem with that is sometimes it costs money to get things shipped to you.
What?
It's horrible. And I hate paying shipping, and I hate having to wait for stuff.
It's terrible.
But, Ron Cloud, I might have a solution for you. There's this thing. Hold on, I'll tell you. There's a thing called Amazon Prime. And it's a subscription service. You pay them, and they're like, hey, we got you. No matter how much stuff you're ordering, no matter how much stuff you're buying, if it's got Amazon Prime available, we got you on that shipping. You want it in 2 days? We got you. Prime now? Hold on. We'll deliver it to you in an hour.
Holy
we got you.
Snap.
I know, right? There's these people at the job that I work at. They're like, let's Prime now some food. So they Prime now a bunch of food. I work at a food company. It's a whole thing. But that's how they got all their snacks that they used to have next to my desk. Just tons of snacks right there. An hour later, delivered by drone. It was a whole thing. They were like, oh, let's go look at the drone. It's crazy. Crazy. But that's what's up. Amazon Prime. And if you have Amazon Prime, you also get access to tons of streaming content on the Amazon Video app, and you get all kinds of crazy perks that I can't even name right now because there are so many. Check it out. Amazon Prime. Description below. Hit it up. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Speaking of things enjoyed. Yep. Speaking of things that I enjoyed the build-up to Backlash. Right, Claude, did you enjoy the build-up?
Nah.
No, it was a bad segue. I didn't really enjoy it all that much either.
Nope.
I do enjoy Amazon Prime, though.
No, didn't enjoy the lead up to Backlash. It's kind of depressing. I mean, my boy AJ Styles had to drop a nail to Jinder Mahal.
I thought you were about to say your boy Jinder Mahal.
Hey.
I thought you loved him.
Nope.
He's your
Nope.
He's your new buddy.
Nope.
Got that Mahal Mania shirt.
You were peeping through the wrong window, man. That wasn't me.
I mean, I saw a dude. He looked like you, but he did have braids.
And I'm going bald, so.
Ron Cloud, this guy was going bald too. It was a bad idea. Don't do that. Don't get braids.
Man,
it's bad.
I had to get extensions to get braids right now. I can't grow I look like George Jefferson. But anyways. Yeah. My boy, AJ Styles.
Mahal.
We will fight. The phenomenal one.
It'll be a better match than what happened.
Yes, it would. 5 stars. 5 stars.
Yep.
But yeah, I get. Okay, let me say this. I get that SmackDown is being billed as the land of opportunity. I get it. I understand. I like that about SmackDown because there's some crazy things that could happen, and you could end up with Naomi with the women's title after so long. That's cool.
Bad.
That's cool.
Yeah. I like Naomi.
But the point of being the land of opportunity should also include earning said opportunity. Not being a jobber 1 second, a blink of an eye, and some steroided up, chiseled up chest.
Hey, we don't know that. We don't know that.
My bad.
Don't
no
get us sued.
No defamation suits. My bad. We shouldn't have a jobber blinking of an eye being turned into a main eventer. Just shouldn't happen.
Basically, we should be seeing Kurt Hawkins and Curtis Axel also being up in the stratosphere.
Exactly.
Along with Jinder Mahal.
Yep.
The entire 3-man band.
Yep. So
I don't even think Kurt Hawkins was in the 3-man band.
He was not. That was definitely Drew Galloway. But
yep.
Who happens to be on NXT?
He would do better.
Exactly.
He would be better with the belt because he's good.
That's it. That's exactly right. He's good, therefore he's forced to have to sit on NXT for a while.
Yeah.
Then wait to get called up.
Basically the truth.
While Jinder Mahal is like, hey, I'm buff. You're moving into India. Give me a title shot.
I'm buff. I'm the stuff. but I'm the Indian stuff, so it's even better.
Yes, so give me a title shot, Dad. I don't know what accent that was. Don't worry about it.
I don't know what that was.
But and they're like, okay, that's cool. We don't have anything else planned because there's 80 pay-per-views and we're WWE creative.
Yeah, we've got to fill this space somehow.
So, first come, first serve, and you happen to ask. So, congratulations.
Yeah. You asked, so we'll give it to you.
So, I mean, and the fact that AJ Styles, who's been on a tear throughout his entire first year and beyond in the WWE, has to suffer an L to Jinder Mahal. Yep. I almost turned off my damn television. I was so mad.
Yep. Like when I was watching it, I said, Ryan Cloud, I sent you a text message. I was like, Ryan Cloud, I'm going to stop watching this whole thing. And then you were like, wait, there's a better match later. Just wait. And I said, okay, I'll believe you. And I was still let down.
Sorry, Ryan Cloud. It happens.
Let me down. Let me down.
It didn't help me that the match was like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
It was a long match. It was a long match that AJ Styles was trying his best to make Jinder Mahal look good.
That's not... hold on. Let's back up. Jinder Mahal is not bad, but he's not good. How did you describe it? Like he was like Dirk Nowitzki?
That's how it has been described, yes.
Yeah, like he's not bad, but he is so overly enthusiastic that he is dangerous. And not dangerous like somebody that doesn't know how to do stuff, hurts people. He knows how to do it. He is just overly exaggerated and overly excited when he's in the ring, which is dangerous as well, but not as dangerous.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know.
Or Kevin Love. Something like that.
Both of those are so... I don't know. Those are definitely comparisons. But for me personally, I mean, I don't know. What makes a main event heel? Like, the crowd has to dislike you. Mahal's got that.
Well, he's got the go away heat, not the good heel heat. He's got like that get out of here, we don't want to cheer for you. He's got Roman Reigns heat.
He's got Roman Reigns heat. He doesn't have Triple H heat. He has Roman Reigns heat.
Yeah.
You've got to have the look. Does he have the look? He has the old school look, the new school, the most recent. There's not really a look. I mean, Kevin Owens isn't necessarily in the best shape of his life, but he's a great champion. He has the look of a champion without having to be like chiseled up and buff.
Yep, he's the face of America.
Yeah.
Just like Ryan Cloud is the face of podcast America.
Yes. And a good heel main eventer needs to be able to tell a story in the ring, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And that he does not have. Right.
Like, he doesn't belong as a... He's basically a leader of a faction. He is the Adam Cole. He is the Triple H. He is the Kenny Omega. He is the Rock. He is I can't think of any other leaders of factions right now, but that's basically what he is. And he does not have the charisma to be a Kenny Omega, a Stone Cold, definitely not Stone Cold. He doesn't have the charisma to be a Triple H. He can't be a Heartbreak Kid. He can't be a Hitman. He can't be any of these guys because he just doesn't have that charisma. It's just not there.
Exactly. And this whole gimmick of I'm not American, I don't like America, rah. I mean, it's so overplayed the way he does it. Kevin Owens, the way Kevin Owens is doing it is perfect.
Kevin Owens isn't even saying he doesn't like America. He's just saying, I'm better because I'm Canadian.
Basically, he's like, hey, I'm the new face of America, and I just happen to be Canadian. So, and that works right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way Jinder Mahal's doing it, he's doing it like an old, like, Iron Sheik.
Yeah, and that worked but you still need the charisma to get that over.
Right.
Sheiky baby, he's got charisma. Jinder Mahal baby ain't got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, even Rusev back when he was actually being used instead of going to Preds games.
Hey,
no hate.
We
no
won.
Hate, no hate.
We won again.
No hate.
Don't worry.
No
we
hate.
got this.
No hate. I mean,
the only reason we're winning is because Rusev's going to the games. That's what I'm saying. He's got to keep going.
I mean, no hate here. I hope the Preds win the Stanley Cup. Is it still called the Stanley Cup?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I hope.
It's Stanley's Cup.
I hope that the Preds win the Stanley Cup. But I just find it funny that I'm pretty sure he was supposed to debut or re-debut or whatever on SmackDown like on Tuesday, and he sent out a tweet like, "Sorry, got to be at the Preds game." So, I mean, that's hardcore. But even Rusev as the Bulgarian Brute got over with sort of that, not so much that I hate America.
It's just that Russia's better.
Yeah. It's like, you're American, but hey, I'm Russian and I'm awesome.
Yeah.
The same thing that Kevin Owens is doing. And it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old school heel type thing, but you've got to be able to get it over.
Yeah, and Jinder, personally, to me, isn't doing it. I don't care how many people they have him beat cleanly. It's not, as clean as you can get with some interference, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a heel.
Yeah. I mean, they had him pin Randy Orton in that 6-man tag. They had him pin AJ Styles. And, he's pinning these high-profile names, but it's not gaining him any notoriety, so to say. It's not, oh my God, Jinder Mahal beat AJ Styles. It's, oh my God, Jinder Mahal beat AJ Styles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, why type thing versus, oh my God, he's being meteoric. It's, oh my God, he's meteoric.
Yeah.
And mediocre.
Like, it's more like, WWE is really doing this, ain't they? They really
doing this. Yeah. I mean, when it comes on Sunday for that match, we know who's going to win. Yeah. And I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry, Ryan Cloud.
I'll be right there with you.
Yeah. It's not going to be good. Not going to be good. Basically, who is the WWE Universe going to hail as champion? Well, they won't hail Jinder Mahal if he wins. They'll cry. They'll be sad. They might hail Randy Orton. Randy Orton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's when you know.
That's the other one.
That's when you know that it's getting bad. When you're like, who's that champion again? Yeah, Randy Orton.
Don't want to hail him either, but they're more likely to cheer Randy Orton than they are to cheer Jinder Mahal.
Randy Orton's he's that guy that has quietly snuck up and got like 11 championships, and no one really pays attention to it.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, that's right. He's got a whole bunch of championships.
Unlike John Cena, who, regardless if you love him or hate him, he has evolved his character as times went on. Like, the John Cena you're seeing now isn't necessarily Super Cena.
He's still Super Cena. He's just not... He is New 52 Superman, not Superman from the late 90s before they killed Superman.
Yeah.
For all you people that are comic book people.
Like, with John Cena now, you expect him to win, but there's still some hope that he might lose.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, it's not over the top to think that he's going to lose.
Yeah, he is definitely the weaker, more human Superman. He's gonna win, but you don't know. Lex Luger might hit him with a Kryptonian gun and zap him to death, and he might almost die. Then Batman's got to come out and help him. Go Batman.
Batman versus Superman match. Anyways.
Hey, did you calm down? It's a great movie.
It was
great movie.
Great?
No, it wasn't.
Just say great? Really?
This is like, it was like watching Jinder Mahal and anybody.
Basically. But enough of that stuff. Enough Jinder Mahal. I'm done. Time to go on to the real main event when it comes Monday. Shoot, when it comes Sunday.
Tuesday, bro.
Bruh.
Oh, you're talking
Tuesday.
about what's coming up on Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Don't be trying to confuse me now.
Gotcha.
The real main event when it comes Sunday, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens. And
yes.
Boy, has AJ Styles just kind of seamlessly transitioned into that face role without anybody knowing.
Mm-hmm.
I
feel you. That's because that's how AJ Styles is. That's how all them guys in the Bullet Club are. That's what it is. They're like, we're heels. Oh, we're faces in this promotion, so let's start doing face stuff. Oh, no, we're heels in this promotion. And that's the thing. Him and everybody else that is in the Bullet Club, they've got to be so malleable. That's the best way to say it. Because depending on what country they were in, depending on what promotion they were in, they were like, well, I guess we're going to do this now. And it's so good to watch AJ Styles work. I don't know. Maybe you don't like AJ Styles, but I think he's pretty awesome.
Hey, he's my boy. And, I mean, it's just, like you said, it's just so seamless. Like, 1 minute he's over here doing heel stuff, and then this Tuesday he's like, hey, I'm bringing the belt back to America. And everybody's like, woo!
Yeah.
Which, of course, one of the main reasons it was so seamless is because everybody was like, woo! While he was a heel. So,
yeah, it's true.
That helps.
Because that's another thing, though. Everybody that's in the Bullet Club was so over. And if they leave the Bullet Club, they're still ridiculously over. And then they join the Balor Club or the Club or whatever it's called now. Whatever WWE is going to call it. Eventually, I'm pretty sure they're eventually going to take the entire Bullet Club over.
Eventually, it's going to happen.
Yeah. We can talk about that in a minute when we talk about Ring of Honor.
Yeah. But, yeah, you just got to give props to AJ Styles for being able to do that without in just a blink of an eye. But, yeah, that's AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, probably going to be matching the night come Sunday.
I'm putting my pin in that one. That's definitely probably where it's going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else on SmackDown?
No. No. There was, nothing that jumped out to me. Of course, the show was used to kind of continue, to continue building Backlash.
To build
Jesus.
to Backlash, yes. I can't help you here, sir. We had the women's contract signing. That didn't really lead anywhere. It was just a rehash. We saw a Naomi Carmella match type thing, and that's pretty much all it was. I think that was the only other thing really that was worth talking about. But that's basically all. What I just said is basically all.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I guess moving swiftly on from that pay-per-view that's coming up on 2 days from now, on to, I guess we could move on to NXT.
Yep, we sure can.
So what's coming up on, I guess, tonight, Friday night? What's coming up? What pay-per-view is coming up in NXT, senor?
We have NXT TakeOver Chicago. I think it takes place on Saturday.
Okay. Whatever. Any marquee matches coming up or anything? Yeah, any marquee matches coming up for TakeOver?
Well, we have the three-way women's title match with Asuka, Ruby Riott, and Nikki Cross, I believe is
yes.
And that is another one of those. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I know that Asuka shouldn't lose the title to either one of those.
Yeah, neither one of them are worth losing the title to at this time. The only person that she shouldn't lose the title, period. The only person that's worth losing the title to is probably Ember Moon. And she's out. And she's out with that same shoulder injury that has put everybody else on the shelf except Roman Reigns. Done. I'm done with Roman Reigns.
I've been done with Roman Reigns. He's Satan. But
every time I think he's gonna be good, and then they like, nope, let's go back to being bad. That's neither here nor there. We're on NXT. We're going. Don't distract me with Roman Reigns again, Radcliffe.
I'm sorry, I haven't. But yeah, we got that matchup. I guess we go ahead and predict who wins as we go through these matchups. I'm pretty sure that Asuka is going to take she's going to walk away with the title. Like we've said, there's no reason. I mean, these two aren't worthy of beating Asuka. Even if it's a triple threat match and she isn't pinned, neither one of these deserve the title.
Yeah. Not at this point. There's no woman on the roster that is worth giving the belt to at this moment in time. I have high hopes for that new girl that showed up this past week, who beat the girl that has the gimmick of being a teacher / Marine / whatever, that comes out and loses all the time. This girl, it was like it looks like an MMA fighter with the boxer braids and all that stuff. She looks like she has potential. I don't know if you saw that match on this past week's NXT or not.
I did not actually.
What if technology?
I think her name is like DeVille, but I think she's got potential to do some good stuff. I guess that disease. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. Back to TakeOver.
All right. The next marquee match, and I think this one has the potential to be the match of the night, or to steal the show at TakeOver, and that's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates for the UK Championship.
Oh yeah, and they also have they're actually going to show the UK Championship on the network. I'll have to check that out, and we'll have to talk about that next week. It's kind of like a pay-per-view, but not really.
Yeah.
It's a special is what they called it. So it's basically like a pay-per-view. I'll have to check that out. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, but as far as my prediction, I mean, the reason I think this is a show stealer is because Pete Dunne is... I marked out for him the one time that I saw him on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And he's... Well, not the one time I saw him, but the first time I saw him on NXT. And, I mean, he's a legit heel bad guy.
He's a bruiserweight.
He's a bruiserweight.
I don't know if you can hear me beating my chest like a bruiserweight, but I was
bruiserweight. You were bruiserweight, and I understand. But, I mean, everything that he does is like your typical old school heel with dirty tactics, and he's just, and of course Tyler Bates is always impressive as well.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a person to win this match, I would have to say, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Pete Dunne.
As I say, I put it on Pete Dunne. That belt moving around a couple times, I don't have a problem with. If they switched it between him and Pete Dunne, or then they, for some reason, happen to have another tournament and, I don't know, Zack Sabre Jr. gets it for like a day, and then it goes back to Tyler Bate or Pete Dunne or whoever. Like, if they had a UK brand, like we're pretty sure they're working to, then I would like to see people that aren't necessarily in the WWE universe coming over and fighting for that belt, like we know that they did for the UK Championship initially, and it just have some random guys that come around and then like a bunch of guys that are just there as part of the WWE universe as well. So you have your Tyler Bate, you have your Pete Dunne, but then every couple weeks you have, Marty Scurll show up and Bullet Club out on him. And then every couple weeks, then you get like a Zack Sabre Jr. or I can't think of what Paige's father's name is, but one of Paige's brothers is a wrestler, and have one of the Knights show up and take the belt. And like, I don't have a problem with that belt moving, but at the same time, I'd like to see it. I don't know. I wouldn't mind it moving off of Tyler Bate for a little bit, because he's had it since they've created it. So it's great that he has it, but I wouldn't mind seeing some fighting for it, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree. That's not a belt. Like you said, Tyler Bates has had it since it's been around. So if you're going to take it off Tyler Bates, it's sort of like the NXT Women's title. If you're going to take it off Tyler Bates, the only person that I feel deserves it right now is Pete Dunne.
Well, I mean, there's only like two other people that are out there that are out for it, so it really doesn't. He's the best of the best, and they are the best at what they're doing at the moment. So, and they only have like 4 of them. Right. So it's kind of hard for it to put it on anybody else at the moment. And that's what I'm saying. I'd like to see more than just who they have, and when in the eventuality that they actually do have a UK show, bring in people and treat it more like a Ring of Honor or a more like a Ring of Honor and New Japan versus a WWE product or a TNA. Ugh. Right.
Anything but TNA, dear God. Well, let's see. Now probably one of the. There's really only 2 more marquee matches that I can think of. Mm-hmm. And of course the first would be the NXT Championship. You know, you have Bobby Roode and you have Ito Itami.
Ito Itami.
Yes.
Yep.
And this one, I like that we finally get to see Itami, you know, back in this NXT main event picture, because the poor guy's had the worst luck since coming to NXT. I think it's been like 2 injuries that's kept him on the shelf.
Yep.
During 2 different stints of his time in NXT. So I'm glad we're actually getting to see him in action at the top at the moment. If I had to pick a winner, though, I would have to say Bobby Roode, just because he's not had the belt that long.
Yeah, it seems like these NXT titles don't move ever. So putting it on Bobby Roode, it's going to stay on Bobby Roode for a little bit. And I have a feeling the person that's going to take it off of him is probably Galloway eventually.
Yeah.
Galloway or Adam Cole, baby.
Oh, snap.
Someday. I don't know.
But, yeah, it's really rare for the NXT champion to lose their belt before it's their time to be called up.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a special case with Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
That was a special case. But if you follow the history of the belt, usually a person loses that title when they're about to be called up. And I don't think, even though I think Roode could do well on the main roster.
Oh yeah, he's main roster ready. Yeah, he was main roster ready when they signed him.
Yeah. But I don't think they're going to do it right now. Mainly because NXT has a lack of top-notch stars. It's almost like their women's division. They have a lack of top-notch stars right now. You have Roode, you have Itami, you have Galloway, and you should have Roderick Strong, but he's not really.
Yeah, he's being more puffed right now than he is actually doing anything.
Yeah.
You used to have the Bollywood Boys and the Drifter.
The Drifter's just drifted on Raw at random times.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, it's so stupid that it's very
But it's
entertaining.
amazing. I love it.
they'll just be in the middle of a conversation. You just start hearing acoustic guitar. It just makes it that much better. Who was it about? I think it was like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, one of the two. There's like, hey, it was Dean Ambrose. It's like, you know any Skinner? Was it Skinner or something like that?
I think it was Skinner,
hey, you know any Skinner? And he just starts playing as he walks away.
It was like Ryan Cloud in college. He's just sitting there, and all of a sudden, there's Ryan Cloud carrying a guitar, just kind of playing. You're like, where did he come from? Like, I don't know. He was in his room the other day.
The whole time?
Where did he come from? I don't know.
Has he been here the whole weekend?
That's crazy. Crazy. Ryan Cloud. Drifter.
Drifter.
Yep. So yeah, it's the belt staying on Rude, but again with this belt, just like that UK belt I was talking about, I wouldn't mind seeing this move a little bit too, because it doesn't necessarily telegraph when the people are going up if it moves around some.
Right. And this is another reason why there should be a secondary belt too.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, have it as the facility champion or whatever, the full sail champion or whatever, or something like the TV champion where it has to be defended every time there is a TV, or every time they go to TV. So that would probably get a little too heavy though if they had a TV champion. But something like that.
Yeah.
A lesser belt that's not like a Intercontinental or a US or something, but a lesser belt. Like, programs have had lesser belts throughout the history of the sports, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's like big belt, but it would be just something that other people can fight for. So like we could see Roderick Strong going against
Cassius Ohno.
Yeah, Cassius Ohno for the Florida title or something.
Yeah. And I mean, it also gives some of these guys that's been training down at Full Sail, and they just kind of keep them off TV because there's not really anything for them to do unless you throw them in just a spot filler match, which doesn't really do them any good.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing low poly version of The Rock out there fighting for some kind of belt that isn't worth much but gives them something to do. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would definitely help build some of these characters that they're trying to build and give them something to latch onto, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, true story. Okay. Now for the last the last high key match.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a ladder match for the tag team titles between the Authors of Pain and DIY. And I'm not sure how this match is going to come across. Not come across, but I don't know how this is going to work between these two. Because, I mean, I know DIY is going to make this match amazing on their side. But, I mean, I don't know how the Authors of Pain are going to do in this gimmick match, especially with coming
around to my side. I see. Well, the Authors of Pain just they're not there yet.
True.
It's not there yet.
True.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. If I had to pick a winner, it's going to be the Authors of Pain. Sort of the same as we said with the NXT title. They've had the belts, but they've not had it all that long, and DIY's already had the titles.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to be getting any more. Like, right now, the tag team division is really just these two.
Yeah, that's essentially all it is. If it had been me, I wouldn't have called up American Alpha yet, and I wouldn't have called up the Revival yet. I would have kept them on NXT for a little longer. It doesn't matter because there's just not enough in the tag picture in NXT, but they had to infuse the tag picture on the main line on the main roster because there wasn't enough there either. There's just not enough tags out there, and then they got rid of one tag team because Well, I mean, nobody liked him, but that there's just not enough people. There's not enough tag teams out there for them to have a single or multiple tag rosters at the moment. It feels like there should just be one WWE Universe tag belt, and it bounces in between all of the division or brands. Yeah, at the moment, and that's how that should be. That's what it feels like.
Well, I believe that I agree with you for one thing. They shouldn't have called up American Alpha. They were just starting to peak, and I guess they thought they were going to strike iron while it was hot.
Yeah.
And it hasn't worked out on SmackDown.
Not at all.
The Revival, I feel like they should have been called up probably faster than what they were, because the Revival was ready. And
they should have been called up before American Alpha.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I wouldn't have called up either of them just because there's just not enough. There's not enough in NXT right now.
Well, I mean, you have if you call up the Revival and you leave American Alpha, you have AOP, you have American Alpha, you have DIY. What happened to TM16?
I think they got lost in the woods in the bayou somewhere.
I think so.
They were trying to drive to the Full Sail. They took a left, wound up in the sharks in the swamp.
They had to, because I've not seen them anytime soon. But and of course you also got Sanity. So
yeah,
I mean that's right
a little
there.
Different.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean if you worst case scenario you have them if you need them.
Yeah, I mean Sanity's a stable.
Right.
It's like Chaos or Triple H. I meant to say DX. Triple H is the whole DX. It's
all of it.
It's like the Nation or DX or the Bullet Club or Decay or anything like that. That is basically what Sanity is. So it's a little different. They do have a tag aspect, but it's more of a whole group versus just being a tag team. So that one, they don't really play into the picture as well.
Right, but like I said, worst case scenario, you could use them.
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as the main roster, I agree that there probably should be a belt. The tag team belt should bounce between brands, but at the same time, I don't mind there being separate belts for separate brands, as long as you do the due diligence of actually
doing stuff.
Yeah, like building tag teams. Like Raw, they did a decent job with Sheamus and Cesaro. They've got the Hardy Boys.
I'm still surprised in that.
I know. I did not think that was going to work. You still have the Hardy Boys. You still have, dang, I can't really remember anybody else now. You still have Revival too.
Well, they're kind of on the shelf.
They're on the shelf right now, but
because of the same shoulder problem.
So many shoulder problems. And on SmackDown, they've just not done a really good job of building any tag teams. Like, I will admit, the Fashion Files with Breezango was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I actually enjoyed that.
And they took apart a tag team too this past week. They took apart Golden Truth.
Oh yeah, yeah. You take apart.
And I don't know.
Truth.
I meant to say something. I don't even understand why. It doesn't make any sense.
It's WWE.
They heard that Cody Rhodes was doing well on Ring of Honor and New Japan, so they decided to punish Dustin. That's the only thing I can think of.
But the main tag team division has just not been built very well. There's no reason, like, the Usos are doing good right now. There's no reason why American Alpha shouldn't be doing good right now. There's no reason why they should have turned Breezango or Tyler Breeze and Fandango into a gimmick, a comedy gimmick, and then giving them a title. That shouldn't have had to be something that had to happen. You didn't build the Ascension when they came up. You didn't build I can't remember. Aiden English and Simon Gotch, the Vaudevillains. They tried to until they about killed Enzo and Cass, who's also on Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the New Day who doesn't really do that kind of thing. I mean, they just didn't do a good job of building these tag teams, and they're suffering for it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's when they bring up, it feels like that thing that happens for a lot of these NXT guys is when they come to the main roster, they flounder because their gimmick, they're doing their same gimmick, but people that are on main that watch main roster don't watch NXT, so they don't know who these people are. So they've got these huge built gimmicks, and nobody cares. It's the same problem like when you bring somebody over from another promotion in, and you expect and they try to do their gimmick that they had over there, and if it's something that's really unique, it won't get over unless they have some kind of crazy force of will. So we see like a Kevin Owens come up, and he's doing the same Kevin Owens gimmick that he's always done, but his gimmick is so relatable because he's just, I'm a street fighter. That's so easy to grasp. Versus like Emma, when they brought her up from NXT, her gimmick was, I don't even know what her gimmick was. It was the dancing, all that stuff, and that was over in NXT. But since nobody watched NXT at that time, they're like, who is this weird girl? And they sent her back down, and then they brought up Dana Brooke, and nobody cares about Dana Brooke because Dana Brooke's same gimmick was that she followed Emma around, and then she just followed Charlotte around, and nobody cares because it's not like They have no, the fans have no place to grasp because this is already so into itself. I mean, it's like an AJ Styles. His gimmick is that he is the most phenomenal man in wrestling. That's easy to grasp. But these other gimmicks, like the Revival, they haven't even been on main roster long enough for us to tell if people are going to grasp onto them yet because they've already gotten hurt. And I have a feeling that's probably going to hurt them a lot. And because it's already hard enough for people to come up to the main roster. But even then, they have such force. They have that kind of force of will, but nobody knows who they are.
Right. And just to kind of add on to that, for them to be as instantly successful, like you say, they have to have a force of will, but it also helps to be just that good everywhere you've been. Like, yeah. Everybody that watches WWE, I'm sure, has also, as far as the hardcore wrestlers go, or hardcore fans go, have heard of a Finn Balor. So they knew what they were getting when he came up. They had heard of Kevin Steen. They knew what they were getting when Kevin Owens came up. Same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura, who hasn't even been on the American circuit that much, and he was still so good at New Japan that everybody knew what they were getting.
Hold on, time out. Did you see that video I sent you of Shinsuke Nakamura suplexing Brock Lesnar?
That's why he's called the King of Strong Style. I'm just saying.
Anyway, people, go check it out. It's from I believe it's just a random New Japan pay-per-view. Just type in Shinsuke Nakamura suplexes Brock Lesnar. It's amazing. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
But, I mean, they knew what they were getting with a Shinsuke. They knew what they were getting with a Samoa Joe. I mean, to have that type of brand from the jump when you enter WWE, it helps. Now, some of these guys that have, or I should even say, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, all those guys, it helped that they were pretty well known on the independent circuit. Some of these other guys that are they start out at the bottom in NXT and they kind of build their way and make their name in NXT.
Like homegrown, WWE homegrown guys.
Yeah, the homegrown guys. For them, it's a lot harder to get over when you get to the main roster. I mean, we saw it with American Alpha. A lot of people probably don't even realize how long that they were in NXT before they became a team.
A while.
Yeah, before they became a team and kind of rocketed in the few months that they had. They jumped to the main roster. People hadn't really seen them, don't know who they are, and it just didn't work out. the same could be said for the Revival, which, like you said, they've kind of got that it factor where they can be successful. I mean, it's still in NXT, seeing Almas. I mean,
well, he started the Ingobernables de Japón in New Japan, but I don't know how well it's going to help him because that's not a tag team that people know from New Japan.
Exactly. And he's over here and he's not getting that success that everybody thought that he would have when he first came over. And I would even argue that Drew Galloway, people know
McIntyre,
him.
Galloway.
Oh yeah, my bad. Drew McIntyre. They remember him from when he was in SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't watch TNA, you haven't got a chance to really see him grow.
Yeah.
The way that, say, like me and you, we saw him grow on TNA. And now he comes back to NXT, and there's no, like, guarantee that he's going to be that next superstar to get over. I mean, is it highly possible? Yeah, but there's no guarantee.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to keep in mind the NXT crowd is different from the main roster crowd. The NXT crowd is more likely to have watched Galloway's title run in TNA.
Right.
More likely to have watched his title run in WCPW. And they're more likely to have watched Cien Almas in New Japan running Los Ingobernables. But at the same, so it's a strange beast, and somebody that is coming over from NXT to the main roster, they have to handle it with child gloves.
Right.
And like what they're doing with Shinsuke, showing all these vignettes, he hasn't even wrestled a match yet on the main roster, but he has so much hype behind him. He has that charisma, though, but if they gave these kind of packages to, I don't know, let's say a Andrade Cien Almas when he comes up, if they gave packages like that to them, you could get people behind them more than what you're getting when you bring up some of these guys. And what they're doing with the Drifter, people are getting behind that, and and most of these people probably haven't even seen him be in any matches as of yet because he hasn't done anything on the main roster. But this is a good way to get him over before he actually does anything. Like, I don't know, if they bring up Aleister Black, just do a bunch of creepy Aleister Black stuff for a few months before he even touches another person. He just appears and does creepy crap. And then all of a sudden, one day, he, instead of just doing something creepy, he goes nuts on somebody. That would be the way to get something like that over, or get somebody from NXT over, is bring them up and have some kind of like decompression period.
Right. But yeah, I guess we kind of beat that horse to the ground. I don't know if that's a saying or not.
I think you added two sayings together.
Anyways, you get what I'm saying.
Speaking of somebody getting beat to the ground, Ryan Cloud, did you get a chance to watch Ring of Honor and their pay-per-view two pay-per-views this past week?
I have not.
Well, that's unfortunate. This was amazing.
I know.
Adam Cole, and I know we touched on this a little bit last week. Adam Cole got beat to the ground.
Now, I did see the super kick party he went to.
Yep. It was bad. Bad. And I don't mean like, bad, don't watch. I mean bad as in it was brutal. Brutal. So I guess we can hit it real quick. Adam Cole, his contract was up with Ring of Honor last month. And he went on Stone Cold's podcast and said he was not ruling out going to WWE and wanted to go to NXT and basically just stay in NXT because it has a better vibe than the main roster. So, Ryan Cloud, I'm not sure where he's going right now, but we know that Adam Cole is out of the Bullet Club. And he is probably not signing with Ring of Honor or New Japan if he is out of the Bullet Club, because that is dominated by Bullet Club. And he has not signed with anybody as of yet. But he is most likely, and this hasn't been corroborated by anybody's sources or anything, but he is most likely going to NXT soon.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that?
I would actually love to see Adam Cole in NXT. What?
I said, baby.
Oh yeah. I would definitely love to see Adam Cole in NXT. I think that he fits very well with the NXT culture.
Mm.
And I just think it's the best thing for him at this point in his career. And like you said, he wants to stay in NXT long term. And I think that I don't know if he could do that long, quote unquote long term, because he's going to eventually get called up to the main roster. He's just that good.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's main roster ready right now.
Exactly. He kind of reminds he was main roster, like you said. If he comes in NXT, he's already main roster ready. I can't personally see anywhere else he should go. I mean, if you knock out ROH and New Japan, what does that leave you with outside of the WWE? I mean,
TNA,
Impact Wrestling. You don't want to go ruin your career there. AAA or Lucha Underground.
I mean, if you don't want any exposure in the U.S., then yeah, that's fine. But you want exposure in the U.S., especially with Adam Cole's gimmick.
Exactly. So NXT is all but should be assured now as his eventual landing spot.
Mm-hmm.
Future NXT champion? Probably.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, let's keep in mind that he just lost the Ring of Honor title. He lost it to Christopher Daniels. And the whole storyline here that I've been telling you guys you need to watch for the past couple weeks is Adam Cole he lost the title, and Hangman Page got tied up in the back and couldn't get out to come help him, and the Young Bucks refused to come help him, essentially. So he was not able to retain the title because he didn't get that underhanded, dirty heel help that he gets, like the Jinder Mahal Bollywood Boys thing. They weren't there to help him. They weren't there to Bollywood boy to his Jinder Mahal, and he got angry. So he fired the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks then appealed to the actual king of the Bullet Club, old Kenny Omega, and boy was that it was interesting. So, essentially, on this pay-per-view, we got to see Kenny Omega and the Bullet Club dominate. I think it was Addiction. I was thinking of WWE. Addiction and who was with Addiction? I can't think of who Addiction was this. I want to say Tanahashi, but I think that's wrong. And it was a great match. Great match. Go back and watch night 1 of War of the Worlds if you want to see Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks just go to town. And then later on in the pay-per-view, we had this is night 3, I believe. I believe there was night 1 and night 4 were televised. Night 2 and night 3 weren't, I believe. And night 4, the last night of the pay-per-view, was in New York City, and they had Adam Cole was in the ring. The Young Bucks show up, and they act like they're not going to be friends, and then they hug Adam Cole, and then as they're hugging him, the lights go out, and Kenny Omega is on the screen, and he basically says good night and goodbye, and pans over, and all of a sudden we see a creepy plague doctor mask, and everybody knows who this creepy plague doctor mask is. It's Marty Scurll. Lights come back up. Marty Scurll's in the ring, and they're all creepy. And then all of a sudden he pops out the umbrella, and it says Bullet Club on it. And then the worst of the worst happens. Adam Cole is kicked out of the Bullet Club. And not just kicked out of the Bullet Club. Ron Cloud, he is what out of the Bullet Club?
Super kicked.
Yep. Super kicked out of the Bullet Club. And, dude, it is definitely a sight to see. Go back and watch. And it's not even the main event of the pay-per-view. It was about midway through the fourth night of the pay-per-view. So go back, watch War of the Worlds, Night 4, New York City. It's great. Go back and watch War of the Worlds Night 1 in Toronto. That was also great. Dude, the whole pay-per-view. I wish I could have found at least some footage from Night 2 and Night 3, because those would have been awesome too, but didn't get to see them. But 1 and 4 are both awesome things to go back and watch. But I guess that's all for Ring of Honor. There is one other thing. Cody Rhodes. He is possibly going to be the next Ring of Honor champion, but there is a small amount of grumbling in the IWC, the Internet Wrestling community, that they don't want Cody Rhodes to be the champion of Ring of Honor. Ron Cloud, why would anybody not want Cody Rhodes to be champion?
I mean, the main thing to me is the fact that isn't he essentially a free agent?
Yeah, he's not really signed to Ring of Honor, or he's not really signed to anybody. In fact, I think he has a match in like Newport, Tennessee, like Sunday or something. So yeah, he is not signed to anyone. He is signed to the Cody Rhodes brand, I assume. Go back to the Matt Hardy thing or the EC3 thing back when we were all doing that in TNA.
But I mean, I don't know. I'd have mixed feelings about that. I guess it wouldn't be too bad if Cody Rhodes won the ROH title, as long as there was some type of contractual obligation that he couldn't run off with it.
Yeah, I guess that'd be the only thing that I could have a problem with is if he's not actually signed to Ring of Honor, and then he's like, well, I don't think I want to work any more Ring of Honor shows. I do have their fancy 10 pounds of gold belt. I'd probably go pawn that thing. That would be my only concern. And that's not even that much of a concern because Cody Rhodes he's such a big name that I doubt that he would do anything like that. Because he has so much respect for the business, for the way things work. But then again, he has so much respect for the business, he might go back to WWE and throw the Ring of Honor belt in the trash like Ric Flair did with the WCW belt. So, and then the WWE belt. And then the WC. Hey, Ric Flair did it a few times.
It's Ric Flair. What do you expect?
Yeah. So, I don't really have a problem with it, but I can understand where people are coming from with that. And it's a great thing that they are recognizing that on TV because Christopher Daniels said several interviews that he doesn't think that Cody Rhodes should even get a chance at the belt because he isn't signed to Ring of Honor. So that is a thing. And I don't know. I don't know if I really have a problem with these exclusivity contracts. All I know is that I wanted to watch Wrestle Circus, and Wrestle Circus is having Joey Ryan. Everybody knows Joey Ryan, the greasy greaseball that he is. He's going to be wrestling the boys, Dalton Castle's boys, but not Dalton Castle. And all I wanted to see is Dalton Castle versus Joey Ryan. I believe that would be one of the goofiest but best matches in a while. But Wrestle Circus tweeted back at me, we can't do that, unfortunately. Dalton Castle can only wrestle for Ring of Honor. So, I don't know. Sometimes it gets in the way of what people would consider dream matches. And then otherwise, it does protect the wrestlers from doing something stupid. I think. Maybe. What do you feel about those exclusivity contracts, Ryan Clark?
Like you said, it always creates that hiccup of what may be a dream match. I mean, back in the day, we weren't going to see Stone Cold Goldberg. We weren't going to see Sting, Undertaker, obviously, because they were exclusively signed to their respective brands. But I think it does, as far as protect. I feel like it just works out better in some aspects of it. Not necessarily like, say with like an ROH, I don't necessarily know if everybody needs to be signed to an exclusive contract. But for like your WWEs, your bigger organizations, I can see where they'd be like, we don't want our let's say John Cena going and wrestling in ROH and getting hurt, and now he can't benefit us any. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, I understand it.
Exactly. I mean, they get hurt enough at their own house shows. Cue Seth Rollins. But yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it does kind of throw some monkey wrenches in the works sometimes, especially with some of these weirder, smaller shows. I think it would be okay. I mean, WWE doesn't necessarily have exclusivity. Like, they can go to one indie promotion. They can go work at Evolve if they wanted to do something indie. Because occasionally you'll see WWE guys show up and wrestle a match in Evolve. And Evolve is this weird promotion where WWE and TNA can cross paths, which the one thing I don't think I've ever seen and I really like to see is this, and I guess this will bring us into TNA. I want to see, and this could be happening soon, maybe, I don't know, but EC3, Ethan Carter III, seems to be having a fallout with management at TNA, and it's on the show, but it's also on his Twitter, and it's weird because sometimes their Twitters are shoot, but sometimes they're kayfabe, and you don't really know sometimes. So I don't know, but Ethan Carter III, I'd like to see him wrestle John Cena. He is basically the John Cena of TNA. I think that'd be a match made in heaven. I don't know. Maybe you don't think so, but I think so.
I think that would be a good match between those two.
Oh,
what
yeah.
You talking about?
You're like, Ethan Carter III, he's stupid. He's stupid. I hate that guy.
Hey, I'm a big EC3 fan, Big EC3 fan.
But I think that'd be great. But, so, I don't know. There's been some crazy things going on TNA. So, Decay has been broken up. And I talked about this last week. Decay got broken up by LAX because Crazy Steve, we know he's coming to NXT soon. I'm not sure when, but he's going to be coming to NXT pretty soon. And LAX got broken up by Val, Veterans of War. We don't need to talk about that. So that it switched over. So now, since Decay is gone, we have Abyss coming out as a lawyer for Jeremy Borash to get Jeremy Borash back on TV because Jeremy Borash has been banned from TV, and now Abyss is his lawyer, but it's not Abyss. It's a new thing. It's Abyss playing himself, and it's goofy. I don't know if I like it, which is kind of like most of TNA.
Truth in that. But I mean, I'm not so big on the whole change characters type thing. Like, we saw Kane go through so many different type of characters.
Yeah.
And he still kept the Kane name. I mean, it carries some weight. I feel like the same could be with Abyss, but I don't know.
If he was Abyss the lawyer instead of like Kane the corporate Kane. Corporate Abyss.
Yes.
That's kind of what's going on. And I think they were trying to make it where he was, I don't know if they tell the announcers exactly what all goes on in TNA, because when the guy was out there, when Abyss was out there as whatever he's going by now, his just name, what's his name?
Josh Matthews.
Yeah, Josh Matthews was like, "You're Abyss. What are you doing?" It seemed like he wasn't sure what was going on, or maybe they were trying to do that. I'm not sure, but TNA makes some weird decisions, so it could be either or it could be a little bit of both. I'm not really quite sure.
Probably a little of both.
Yeah, they're like, well, Abyss is going to come out, and he's going to be a lawyer. And then when he didn't show up as Abyss, he showed up as whatever Abyss's actual name is. He was like, "You're Abyss, what are you doing?" So, I don't know. It is a weird thing. Another weird thing that's going on with TNA is they've got Laurel Van Ness, Chelsea Green, for anybody who follows Global Force Wrestling. Well, anybody who follows Global Force is probably following TNA too, so they probably know who I'm talking about. She's great as Chelsea Green. She's a mess as Laurel Van Ness. And I think this Laurel Van Ness storyline has run its course, because it is hard to watch. I would rather see her not. And for anybody who doesn't know what's going on, so right before the TNA Superstar shakeup, that's probably what we should call it, when everybody jumped ship and they lost the Hardys, they lost Maria Kanellis, they lost, I think they might have lost Aaron Rex also, because I haven't seen him on TV in a long time.
Well, he said he was leaving. He said he was leaving back then too.
Yeah, but though there has not been an actual thing where he's gone anywhere or actually said that, like, nobody put out an official statement. He said he was going to leave, but there's not been an official statement of if he has or hasn't, so we don't know. And that's the thing about TNA. We don't know what's going on. It's so backward. But there was a storyline where Laurel Van Ness was going to marry Braxton Sutter, and Braxton married Allie instead, and left Laurel Van Ness at the altar. And I'm sure this was going to lead to something big with Maria Kanellis, because she was basically the de facto leader of the Knockouts. And then she was just gone because, well, I mean, they didn't send them the contract until like the day before it needed to be signed, because they're trying to power play on them. And that was just a horrible idea in TNA because they lost so many heavy hitters out of doing that. But this storyline is still going on, and this storyline should have ended like a couple weeks after that. And it's basically Laurel Van Ness has had a mental breakdown because Braxton Sutter left her at the altar, and now she's got this guy named Congo Kong, who is, if somebody, he's basically Umaga. And it's just not a very good storyline. And I'm surprised that it's still going on. And I've tweeted Laurel Van Ness about it a couple times, and so has several people, and she is not happy at people that tweeted her about this storyline. She's like, well, yeah, I'll drink my champagne and leave me alone. So it's, I like I like Chelsea Green, Laurel Van Ness. She's great in the ring, but I just wish that this storyline would die, or maybe since they've incorporated a global force, that the Laurel Van Ness character would be written off and have her come back as Chelsea Green. I know that's kind of weird, and we just basically said that would be hard for somebody to do, but I would prefer it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too deep into this storyline. I know that I'll just put it this way. Common sense tells me that if you have a wrestler, we'll say, driving a storyline and then they leave, probably not such a good idea to keep the storyline going.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't the main Maria Kanellis. Well, the main person in the storyline was, even though like technically the main people were Braxton Sutter and Laurel Van Ness and Allie, that they weren't the main character. It was Maria Kanellis was the main character.
Right. And I mean, without that, there's no reason why the story should continue. Especially this kind of story. It's just it's kind of weird, period.
Yeah.
And TNA should kill it. So, I mean, honestly.
I mean, they're trying to push Sienna as the new Maria Kanellis, but Sienna is not Maria Kanellis. Maria Kanellis is a conniving, manipulative. That was her character. She was running everything from the background. Sienna is like, she is like the hitman type of character. She's not what they need for this character as the leader of the women's division. She can be the leader of the women's division, but in the same way that like a Samoa Joe would be the leader, the head person in the men's division. It wouldn't be because he's running things. It would be because he is breaking things. And that's what Sienna is, essentially. So it's rough. Rough to say the least.
It's rough. That's to put it nicely.
Yeah, definitely. And they had there was a match, there was a Global Force show where they had a match between Sienna and Chelsea Green, and that was great. I want to see that. I don't want to see at this point in time, I feel like I want to see Global Force Wrestling have a TV show and not TNA have a TV show, which is crazy because they are now the same company, but they treat them better when they are wrestling for a Global Force show than they do when they're wrestling for a TNA show. And that is insane.
Well, Jared is the puppet master pulling the strings, so
I don't know. We might see a Laurel Van Ness versus a Chelsea Green match pretty soon, according to that. That'd be a mess. Sienna versus Sienna. She fights herself.
Book it.
Yep, it's gonna happen. All right. I mean, and speaking of other weird bookings, have you heard the rumors about what's going on in the combat sports world, Rackla?
In the combat sports world altogether?
I mean, whatever.
I mean, as far as wrestling, not so much. But I mean, we got this Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather deal.
Oh yeah. No, but yeah, that's cool. It's been signed. I hear it's been signed, Rackla.
No.
Enlighten me.
McGregor has signed his portion of the contract. Mayweather hasn't seen what terms that McGregor has signed for. So there's a good chance that Mayweather's probably going to be like, nah, bruh. I mean, I would guess that, I don't know if McGregor finally gave in and realized he wouldn't be the A side on this fight. But if he still thinks he's the A side, I'm guessing it's going to be a money dispute because Mayweather's not willing to give McGregor a crap ton of. It's probably going to be a 70-30 split, maybe a 60-40. It's never going to be 50-50.
No, not at all.
So that's interesting. I don't know. I haven't looked into it past face value. I'm still not convinced that this fight is going to happen anytime soon anyways.
Yeah, it's probably if it's happening like next year. That's a while to wait for a match. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen sometime next year at the earliest.
Yeah, I would bet, I don't know. For McGregor, I mean, this is hurting him because he's on the shelf in the UFC trying to work this out.
And Yep. It's a mess. Speaking of messes and money, so there is a fancy UFC fighter we all love. His name is Captain Montgomery Punk. Cookie Monster
I know
Punk.
where you're going.
Yep. As you see how much money he got paid and where he might be coming.
Enlighten us.
So, basically, he made some ridiculous figure. I can't even figure out what the figure is, but he made over $50,000 in bonuses for his match at UFC 203. And they basically released how much money he made this past week. And it is some ridiculous amount. Essentially, he made $1 per every pay-per-view sold over 250,000. So that is a ridiculous amount of money. It's insane.
Well, I mean, I knew back when it happened, they released all the gate that they got, and I can't remember if he had the most or the second most. I couldn't remember. And needless to say, the UFC vets are not happy.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure.
Especially with this how the contracts are set up now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the way the contracts are set up now is ridiculous. I mean, the fact that you have this, I want to think it's Reebok. Yes, it's Reebok.
Yeah, Reebok sponsors UFC right now.
You have the Reebok sponsorship, and your compensation from Reebok is based on how many fights you've had. Unless you're a champion, it's based on how many fights you've had. And basically,
with the bottom amount, if you have a Reebok sponsorship, is $2,500.
Yeah, I mean that's the base for how much money you get from said sponsorship. Which is why when all this came out originally, fighters were up in arms, and also the reason why you've had some of these top names jumping ship because I mean they could get their own sponsors over in Bellator, and still make a pretty good amount of money in Bellator.
And wouldn't Shogun Machida wouldn't he have a big stink about this a couple years or about a year ago?
Now, which one are you talking about? You said Shogun Machida. You talking about
Shogun and Machida?
Yeah. I'm not sure if they did or not. I know that
I think Machida was the one that might have been in it. I was thinking Shogun might have also been in it too.
Well, see, they both had so many fights that they're getting the top dollar.
That's true.
Same thing with, like, say, your Joe Lozon. I mean, he's not by any means a top-level fighter anymore, but he's getting top-level sponsorship money because he's had a billion fights.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why you have, like, for example, let's say if Conor McGregor wasn't a UFC champion and he wasn't bringing in the money, but he was still like a undefeated fighter. He'd be getting paid like $5,000 with the amount of fights he's had inside the UFC. So I mean, it's and that's another thing. It's based on how many fights you've had in the UFC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can have a 45-5 record, but if you've had like 2 fights in the UFC, you're still getting bottom dollar. So yeah. Anyways, that's a whole thing. And the fact that you have some of these good fighters that are getting paid crap, and then CM Punk comes in and they're basically saying he generated, I think at the time it was just below $1 million for getting beaten like 30 seconds.
30, not even 30 seconds.
Yeah, so that's gotta hurt a little bit.
Well, I mean, he is a name though, so I mean, these people have to understand. Oh, I don't know. The MMA world has such a weird. It seems like it doesn't understand the way booking works, or the way MMA, the whole mixed martial arts thing comes from wrestling. Like, it comes from the professional wrestling realm, but it so disregards that fact that it doesn't want to acknowledge that big names draw money more than people's records. It's so afraid to acknowledge that fact that's why all these people are angry at CM Punk. And they shouldn't be, especially if they know the history of the mixed martial arts sport. It's just professional wrestling, but not staged or not choreographed. That's all of what MMA is. And they don't understand. Their fans are so up in arms normally to say that they are not that. So it's like they make sure to not understand how having a big name draws more crowds. And I don't understand that. People should, I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. To me, I don't think it's necessarily they don't get that a big name draws a bigger crowd, thus they should get paid more money. I think the way that a lot of them think is a big name inside the sport. Okay, let me rephrase this. In their minds, if you're a big name inside the sport, you should be getting what you get, top dollar money. If you're let's say you're CM Punk, you're a big name in the WWE, and you jump ship to MMA, in their minds it's like he's never had a professional fight, so he shouldn't be able to reap the benefits of a pay-per-view just because of who he is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing is, he is a big name in a combat sport. It's not like it's a little different than if, like, Gronkowski. If Gronkowski decided to become an MMA fighter, it's a little different. But at the same time, I get that idea. And, a Gronkowski fight or a Tom Brady fight, people would pay to see that. And they would pay to see Tom Brady get beat up.
Exactly.
But then it's like then after they paid to see Tom Brady get beat up, then they wouldn't want Tom Brady to get any of the money for getting beat up.
Right. And
yeah.
That takes us into a whole nother argument as far as how just the general public feels that some of these athletes get paid too much. And yeah. I'm always like, you'll very quickly hear someone say, why does Tom Brady get paid, yada, yada, yada.
He just throws a ball around.
Why does LeBron get $115 million? Well,
he just dives. That's all he does. Why is he getting so much money?
Well, you kind of paid the money to get in the game, and you bought his merchandise, and you've basically fed this big multi-billion-dollar beast, and he's just reaping the rewards. So, in that sense, I think, and I personally understand.
Ryan Cloud getting all this money? Ryan Cloud. Oh.
Shoot. Me personally, I get the whole business side of MMA and boxing and all that. But I also kind of I understand why a person would get upset at CM Punk making more than George St. Pierre.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I feel like George St. Pierre's made quite a bit of money. I don't think he's complaining.
No, George St. Pierre, he's rolling. He's rolling in the money. But, I'm talking about just on, like, an individual pay-per-view basis. George St. Pierre's made God knows how much money off sponsorships. He probably not going to be too happy about this whole being limited to Reebok thing when he comes back and destroys Michael Bisping. But
yeah. I know George St. Pierre at least has $30 of my money. I bought a George St. Pierre, one of those figures that is the elite figures that has all the articulation. I have him fight CM Punk all the time. I sit there in my bathtub, smacking them together, acting like I'm a 5-year-old kid. It's great.
And $30. On that note, we're going to move on. We're just moving on.
So back to CM Punk. CM Punk, he also might be coming back for a wrestle. I don't know if you saw this, Ryan Cloud, but he could be coming back. Somebody shared a picture of CM Punk at some wrestling event. I'm not sure what it was, but there is a chance he could be coming off for a one match, and it is a 126 man or something. Let me check this. He wants to compete in the world's first 128 man wrestling tournament that will begin on June 10th at Liverpool's Echo Arena. So we could see CM Punk coming to the wrestling organization 5-Star Wrestling out of the UK. And how do you think that'll draw money? If it's going to be in the UK, we're going to see all these UK strong style guys. We might see a Tyler Bate. We might see it because they don't have exclusivity with WWE, all those UK guys. Yeah. So we could see like a Tyler Bate or your boy Pete Dunne wrestling CM Punk. How do you feel about that?
That, my friend, would be amazing.
Oh, yes. That would be beyond amazing. So this could be coming up. And what this company did, they've been trying to get CM Punk on one of their shows since 2015. And he has decided to show some interest, finally. The guy Daniel Hinkles, I believe is his name, is the one that owns the company. He said they have made the offer and he seems interested. So that could be coming very, very soon. I would definitely buy that pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, that'd get all my monies.
All of the monies. And then, speaking of other people who are not coming back to WWE, it has basically been confirmed that Paige is not going to be coming back, and they're still going to be making the movie. So we're not sure how that's going to be working out or anything. And that Summer Rae will be coming back, though. Rockloud, how do you feel about that?
Well, with Paige, I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised to hear that. I mean, all the, off the behind-the-scene issues and issues in her personal life, it doesn't surprise me that she doesn't want to come back. Like we've kind of said before, I expect her to follow Alberto El Patron around. Maybe she ends up in AAA. Maybe she ends up in Impact or something along those lines. But to hear Summer Rae's coming back, I don't really have any. I'm not like, yay. I'm just kind of like, it's a person.
Oh, she's been out since August, so yeah. She's been gone a while.
Yeah, and it's just kind of one of those examples that show that being on the shelf, unless you're a big time name, it can hurt. It can hurt.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, she'll be another body to have on SmackDown or Raw. But as far as, it's just, another addition that's coming to one of the brands, which will be good.
Which brand do you think needs at least another warm body?
If I had to pick one, I would say, believe it or not, I'm going to say Raw.
I was going to say Raw as well. I don't know, Raw is probably going to stagnate now since Charlotte's gone. And Alexa Bliss is not. That's just the best way to put it. Nothing against you, Alexa. Love you. Love your little skeleton gloves and all that stuff that you got at the dollar store. But you're not there yet. I'm sorry. And then we got Alicia Fox and all this stuff. Yeah. She's come back. That's just, sorry, not liking it. And then Summer Rae, it's just another warm body at least, and it gives you at least one more one more piece on the table, I guess, to play with. And then I guess the other thing is WWE has also signed a couple of different stars from Japan, but they will not be at TakeOver Chicago, which usually they show people at the takeovers that they have just signed. Shiraya and Kira Hojo will not be at the NXT TakeOver because they have shows at New Japan they have to finish. So we'll see that. I'm sure we'll see them soon, though. Because, they just got signed, so of course we're going to see them soon. And, Hojo will be required to create a new finisher. Right now she has a top rope diving elbow drop. Right now she has a top rope diving elbow drop, which is basically the Macho Man elbow drop, which we all know who uses that. Ryan Cloud, who uses the Macho Man elbow drop in the women's division?
Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey? Yes. Yeah, they basically said that Hojo cannot use that because that is already Bailey's move, so she has to come up with something else. What do you feel about that? Making people take up new moves like that?
It's nothing new. I personally wouldn't have an issue with the elbow drop. It's not like that's Bailey's finisher. It's a signature move, but most of the time she's finishing people off with the belly to belly.
Yeah.
So would it look weird to have one superstar finishing a match with an elbow and another one not? Maybe, but I don't think it in this specific case. I don't think it's an issue. Now, if it had been like Tommy and CM Punk were in the WWE at the same time, and they were both using the GTS, that would be different. But this, I don't have a problem with the use of the flying elbow as a finisher, even though Bailey has it.
Yeah. It'd be like if I started finishing matches with like a sharpshooter and then started like bashing Natalya for using sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that were a thing, then yes, that would be a problem. But them both doing an elbow drop, so many people do elbow drop and leg drops that it's not like it is so much of a thing.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing her do elbow drops in the future, even if it's not a finisher, if she still had it in her repertoire. But she had something else.
Yeah, and it'd just be just as easy as be like, maybe you perform it differently, or you do something to separate. Like there's different ways you could do an elbow drop off the top rope. Same thing as like the leg drop from the top rope. You had the guillotine where people would get crazy air.
Mm-hmm.
And you have some that's just kind of like a leg drop. Same thing with the frog splash versus the 5-star frog splash. It's just the theatrics of it's different.
Or what is Austin Aries' move? It's the his finisher is the 5-arm instead of the forearm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same move. Or anyway, Bailey's finisher, the Bailey to belly, is just a belly to belly.
Yeah, the phenomenal forearm is a
it's forearm strike.
It's a forearm.
It's a forearm strike off of the rope.
It's almost, and the one that really gets me sometimes is and I love the guy to death, Finn Balor, but occasionally like you have the coup de grace, but then sometimes he'll do it from the top rope and it's just a stomp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, it's the coup de grace, and then someone will be like, nah, it's just a double foot stomp. He's not finishing the match yet. Shut up.
Yeah, and it's just, but when they come up with goofy names for some of their moves, it just seems like, what is AJ Styles' move was a calf cutter. It was a cutter.
Yeah.
And they were like, we got to call it the calf killer, and then we got to call it the calf, and then like Mauro Ranallo, since he does UFC, he would occasionally accidentally call it the actual name for the move instead of what WWE wants him to call it, and he would like get fined. So sometimes when they come up with these goofy names, it's funny. I mean, a pile driver is a pile driver. A tombstone pile driver is a pile driver where you cross their arms in front of them, but it's still a pile driver. So, I mean, it's I don't know. Sometimes making them change their move sets and stuff, I understand why they have signature moves, but at the same time, I don't know if it's worth doing all that stuff as long as they don't have exactly the same move set. Like, they can have some crossover between moves. Like, I'm going to have the Lee Craft punch. It's basically a normal punch, but you can't call it the Lee Craft punch, Ryan Cloud, if you use it. Or like the yes kicks. I mean, how many people are using the yes kicks now? Like exactly. 4? Yeah, I don't know. I have some issue with it, but at the same time, I understand it. I guess, yeah. So I guess that's it. Speaking of signature moves, I guess it's time to make my signature move and leg drop the ending of this show. Unless Ryan Cloud has any problems with that.
Nah, man, I'm good.
All right. He's just like, I'm quiet now.
No,
all right.
I'm good.
Well, then, I'm coming off the top rope with that. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Hit us up on the social medias. They will be down in the description below. If you got any crazy cool questions, drop it down in the comments. Send it to us on Twitter. Throw it at us on Facebook. I don't know. Holler at Ryan Cloud next time you see him in the street. He's always hanging out somewhere. I don't hang out anywhere, but he's always at things. So hit him up. Let him know. If you see me, don't talk to me.
Okay, Steve Harvey.
And anyway, I guess that's it. So hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like how I just said all that stuff. I guess I will catch you guys on the flip side. Ryan Cloud, got anything for the people?
I'll just tune in next time.
All right, well, that's kind of anticlimactic. That's kind of Jinder Mahal on us right there. Oh, well.
Means I'm a champion eventually.
All right, we'll do it better next week. I guess we'll catch you guys later.